Welcome back to Altenberg, Germany, home of this Heat 2 of Round 5 Women's Monobob World Series presented by Saxon Energy. We're about an hour south of Dresden, Germany, on the eastern side of the country. I'm Greg West, joined by John Morgan. And John, we had a very interesting and exciting first heat. 21 sleds started, 20 remain.
Well,
in third place right now.
Laura Nolte from Germany's the third place. She's the best driver on the Women's Bob Tour in both the two-person sled and here. Only been off the podium once in the Monobob event. Hasn't won one yet. She's 500ths out of the lead. She's only 100th back from Christine De Bruyn. Christine has not medaled in four-man or Monobob yet. She medaled on the two-person Women's Bob every event so far. But she's put herself in a position to get on the podium today, and she's only 100th back of Cynthia Appia, her teammate. This is a rising star in women's monobob. She's been on the podium the last two events, her first medal here 2 weeks ago. But when you have the start time like this athlete from Toronto does, it gives you the best chance to have the best downtime. She's got the best start, she's got the best finish, but boy, is it a close race. Check those times out.
Yeah, the Canadians have the strong showing so far with Appia and De Bruyn. Nolte obviously in third. Kaylee Humphries from the U.S. sitting in fourth right now with Yomeka, the Olympic gold medalist, tied for fifth with Sergeyeva from Russia. Rounding out the top 10, some of the notables, Alana Myers-Taylor, tied for ninth with the German Kim Kalicki. We have Melanie Hassler in 12th. And Kim Urant with a great drive from the Korean surprised us all off the top. A really nice drive for her, a good result. And rounding out the rest of the field, once again, 21 started the first heat, 20 will continue. Gadia Andretti was one of the two sleds that tipped over in the first heat. She will not get a second run, but we were just told from the truck that Martina Fontanive from Switzerland is going to take a second run. She did loop the sled on the exit of the Kreisel. It came back up, and she is going to take another chance at redemption on this Altenberg track. Ice is pretty soft, John, with only minus 0.7 degrees Celsius. We saw some of the sleds a little bit wild, especially from the exit of turn 9, the straightaway down to Kreisel. How do you think the warm ice temperatures are going to impact this second heat?
Well, they were only 3,300ths from the track record, but all the sleds are in the back of the field go first. They're going to get the best ice to work with. But hey, we saw fast times in the skeleton events yesterday in the second run. I don't know, it's a little warmer, it's not as foggier. But here's our lineup. We go 20-1 in the second run all the way down to the two Canadians in the lead, and going to be pretty interesting all the way down. And this track makes anything interesting here, Greg, and you know that from your skeleton time. And here comes Melanie Hassler. She didn't do so well in the first run. Or excuse me, Martina Fontanive.
First sled off for Heat 2 here at the Women's World Series presented by Saxon Energy. Martina Fontanive looking for some redemption. Sled tipped over on the exit of Kreisel in the first heat, 6:48 getaway. She's a little bit back from her 6:44 in the first heat.
Well, when you fall off a horse, they tell you to go get up, get back on it. Bobsled coaches will tell you, you crash, you don't want to leave the forum. You want to get back up there and go as quickly as you can. She had the opportunity to do that because there's only 21 sleds in the field, and the other sled crashed, and this is where Martina crashed right here. She got out of it.
So ninth here a couple weeks ago. Trying to get out of Kreisel, and she does. A little bit rough there, 11-12 though.
Well, she's going to make it to the bottom on four runners. It's going to be a way better time. She had 1:03.84. She's probably going to get 1:01, 2 seconds better. 1:01.47. So there she is, 2 seconds, and faster, which is quite a bit in the sport of bobsledding. 2/10 is a lot. 2 seconds better, but that's what happens when you keep it on four runners.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to go faster when you're on four runners. We see here, though, on the exit of 9, this run was not without drama.
Well, she dropped a runner here. Italian sled crashed here. I can't remember, was she crashed here or down in the exit of Kreisel? But either way, got high here at 11. Little squirrely in 12.
We've seen that take sleds over on a number of occasions.
That's so forgiving compared to what it used to be. But hey, she gets points for 20th place.
Next up from Ukraine, Lydia Hunko, the strongwoman competitor from Kiev, Ukraine, the 28-year-old, still new to piloting these sleds, but has had some success on the lower tours. 5th place in the Europa Cup in Sigulda a few weeks ago.
Yeah, the Europa Cup's like the North American Cup at the lesser tour. Half points are awarded than you get on the World Cup tour. But athletes like this, they're better going over there in a lesser field, getting 5th or 6th place points better than receiving 20th place points or 19th place she's probably going to get. But sometimes
6:82 start time matches her first heat start time.
Going to have to improve the start.
Green numbers through the second sector.
As there should be with the, remember, it's a 2-heat combined time, and of course Fontanive had that crash, so she came back up on its runners, but she was 2 seconds off the pace.
Rough exit out of Kreisel there, but she does pull it off.
She's only 1400ths ahead. I don't know if she's going to maintain the lead. Fontanive, the much more
expected to move up.
Yeah, no, she's going to hang in there. She's going to hang in there. 1500s up. She's going to barely hang on.
Ducks the line and pulls it for a combined time of 2:05.06 from the Ukrainian Hunko. It's again the 28-year-old strongwoman competitor.
1 second and 1800ths better than her first heat. So, hey, a good drive down. That's her best finish in the World Cup. I think this might be her first World Cup. But here we are. As you know, Greg, this is the toughest transition on the track. More for skeleton than bobsled, but if you do that in bobsled and hit there, it definitely submarines your time. Not bad down here in the exit of Kreisel. Lets the sled come straight. For an inexperienced pilot, we'll give her an A+ performance.
Up next from Austria, Kati Beil. Not expecting to see her back this far, John. She's had some success this year, been on the podium a couple of times.
Just hasn't grasped these sleds.
6:33 start time, so she's up by a 1.5 seconds. Would you say it's safe to say, as long as she keeps its shiny side down, she should be your leader after this heat?
Well, she's one of the most accomplished pilots in the field. She won the World Cup title in two-person bob last year. Hasn't had a good season so far, but she was 10th in this race 2 weeks ago. She shouldn't be back here in 18th. She had a horrific first run. So if she puts down the run that this experienced pilot should, that speed, this is what we expect, she could live in that leader's box for 4 or 5 sleds. She's got a second 1-3 lead.
Well, she's going to be the leader. The question is for how long. This is a much cleaner looking run than her first heat. She was pretty dejected as you saw her walking up the outrun in the first heat. Through and down, up by
1 second better. 1 second and 600ths better. That time would have put her up 5 spots. Yeah, she would have been tied with 1/100th off Ming Hua of China. So, well, if she had 2 of those heats, she'd be in the 10th place that she finished 2 weeks ago. But there's no tennis, there's no lets in this sport. Both heats count. Skidded out of 4. She doesn't have good control at all, and this is an experienced pilot.
Yeah, a little loose, kind of all over the place, but once again, still a second better in her second heat. Obviously, a much better run. She does have the opportunity to move up. She was only 1800ths of a second behind our next athlete from Slovakia, Victoria Cernaska. 18th fastest start time in the first heat. She had a 6:46, ranked 24th in the combined women's results so far this season.
Bratislava is where she's from, gymnastics and track and field. 19 years old. I dare say this might be the youngest athlete in the competition.
6:46. So she does improve her, or she matches her first heat start time. So she's got a 0.05 of a second lead currently over the Austrian Bile. Oh, she does that bunny hop going into the Omega again.
All 4 runners off the ice, so it's consistent, but consistent in the wrong way.
0.03 of a second in the green.
Should be red here pretty quick.
Runner dropping a skid, but pulling away at the moment, up by a 10.
Yeah.
Although after that skid, I think she'll fall back a bit. Second fastest speed on the entrance of Kreisel, 4th fastest speed on the exit, and in red numbers.
Yeah, so Patty Farrell is going to pick up at least 1 here. Ooh, watch out here.
Wrong side of the track going into 15.
101.48.
Caddy Bile moves up 1. I think that's what she was looking forward to doing, looking to go hunting. It's going to be hard for her probably to overcome the next sled, as there's quite a gap. But anytime you move up 1 and hang out in the leader's box, it's a good thing.
4,400's better than her second run, so the track got some more speed in it, but these are the early sleds with the best ice. Watch the sled go airborne. Look at all 4 runners again. 2 for 2. She wins the sled jumping competition, which, if anybody's watched our broadcast, we used to have a sled jump competition in Cortina a decade or so. On the exit of Cristallo, there was a big jump. And look at this straightaway. She wishes she could have that back, but the youngest athlete in the competition is through and down.
Next up from Russia, Anastasia Makarova, the 28-year-old from Moscow. Track and field background, had the 13th fastest start in the first heat with a 6:29. See what she can do here, if she can match that. 6:30, so 1/100 of a second behind, but she has a 9/10 of a second gap, John. That's a pretty solid lead.
That's a pretty big lead. If we're giving out style points for the entry into the sled, she's right there as one of the best. I wouldn't give her a lot of style points for driving, but she's got a second lead on Patty Barrows at the bottom, so. Ooh. She was late there, and she's skidding here, but she's got a huge 1 second lead. But there are gremlins on this track.
Falling back now, only 0.8 of a second up on the wrong side of the track going into 13.
Sideways here, no, 48. So she's going to win by 35 hundredths.
Maybe not the run she was looking for, but good enough to hold her spot. And she does by 0.3. You called it. 101.61. 202.84 her combined time. Good enough for provisional first place. Once again, that's Anastasia Makarova, Moscow, Russia, the sprinter.
Slower than the first run, though.
Now, do you think that's from the drive, or do you think the track has gone away a bit, or is it too early to tell?
No, everybody was faster. Look at lines like this. This is why she was slower. That's not the way to take that curve. And look at here. You know, she's sliding through here, and then she's just, every straightaway, she's sideways in. This could have been disaster here, getting on that wrong side of going into 13 like that.
Well, she's still provisional first place. It's getting always good as an athlete coming up and seeing that 1 next to your name. Up next from China, Mingming Huai. She had a 6:17 start time in the first heat, good enough for the 8th fastest start time. Currently sitting in 15th place. She's 19th overall in the combined points. The track and field athlete, once again from China. And John, the Chinese, once again, have a great program they're building into this Chinese Olympics that are coming up in here in just a couple of months. 50 days, actually.
She's a sprinter, and she gets good starts. You know, she's probably got 3 years of driving under her belt, but I've been impressed with her drive lines. She's got unbelievable coaching between Pierre Luters, the gold medalist from the '98 games. Andre Lange, he won 4 gold medals. So between Lueders and Lange, they won 5 of the 8 gold medals available from the 98 to the 2010 game. They won 5 of the 8. I think the Chinese have good coaching. Wow.
Well, she's up 0.6 of a second right now. So she's extending. She's at 5,200s, now up to 0.6 of a second, making 8,500. She's pulling away.
Yeah. She was 11th in this event a couple weeks ago. No, I take that back. She was 14th. There's Pierre Lueders.
First by a second. 1 minute 71. So she is faster than her first heat. Combined time of 2:01.80. So an improved run. Once again, her driving is really coming along.
Yeah. She's enthused about the sport. Good driving. Better than average starts. This wasn't perfect getting off the Harold Shodai curve, the number 9 curve. Shodai, the 1994 Olympic gold medalist for Germany in 4-man bobsled and Lillehammer. Little shaky, but could move up.
Up next from Russia, 14th in the standings right now, Lyubov Chernek. The sprinter, 60-meter sprinter from Krasnoyarsk. They're on the Black Sea.
A lot of athletes come from that region, you know, from bobsled, luge, and skeleton. They got a natural track up there.
Improves her start time, 6:22 this heat, 6:24 in the previous heat. Green number, she's got a 1/4 of a second in the bank going through the Omega.
She's one of the few athletes that started in skeleton. She finished 16th in this event a couple weeks ago, and if she gets to the bottom here as the leader, she'll post a personal best.
It's coming back a little bit, 2,300s before, 2,100s now. We'll check the speed on the exit of Kreisel. Second fastest speed going in, third fastest speed coming out, but she's pulling away.
Little rock and roll rebels there. She's almost ready to say that Martin Haven turned more hits than Elvis.
You worked it in. That should be your leader. Woo, it's close though, 1,500ths of a second.
That's her best finish on this track this year. 1:00.86. She went slower though.
A little bit slower, but she's in the lead. Once again, this sprinter from Krasnoyarsk. A little bit of trouble in a couple places.
Yeah, so she had 15th was her best finish in monobob, so she's going to be no worse than 12th or 13th.
A little bit of trouble there on the exit of 12, though.
11-12 combination. 13. Ooh. You can roll into that curve. She's happy.
Up next from Korea, our first starter from the day, coming off a win on the Europa Cup in Sigulda just a couple of weeks ago, Yurain Kim. Kim had the 19th fastest start time in the first heat with a 6:48. But as you said, John, on this long and technical Altenberg track, starts are not nearly as important as a place like Eagles.
Well, the person with the best start in the competition is leading the competition, so you can't say that totally. But you can get away with, 6, 8, 1000s back. And we've been impressed with this young Korean athlete, Kim. She had the first #1 draw. She was first one out. Had the best ice to work with. 2/10 back. That might be one of the reasons she was in the position she was in. But she was the first sled out.
A little bit of a skid going into Kreisel. She's back 1,600ths of a second, but she had the second fastest speed coming in. Third fastest on the exit. She's clawing it back a little bit, 1,400ths back. We have a race on her hands. 400, she's going to overtake.
Do it. Right to the 100.
Going into 17.
She's done it. Nice run at the bottom. Hey,
1,300ths of a second. 1:00.84. Combined time 2:01.52. And she drove herself into the lead there. It took her the entire track, but she brought it back.
Now, she showed us in this event that she's got some talent and driving. Her start time, you know, she got the 5th best start. She'll probably be the 10th by the end of the day. But other than that mistake right there, that was a pretty good run.
Yeah, solid drive from the Korean athlete. Once again, coming off a win on the Europa Cup in Sigulda, a very difficult track. And that's got to give some good momentum coming into the Christmas break. Next up from Switzerland, Melanie Hassler. Melanie, 8th overall in the combined standings right now for women's bobsled. The 23-year-old former volleyball player. She had the 7th fastest start in the first heat with a 6:16.
Well,
she matches
8th and 14th in 4 runs so far in the Monobob competition this year. And 14th in Winterberg, very disappointed last week, and she shouldn't be back here in this position. She's want to climb up and get into the top 10, which, again, she was 8th on this track 2 weeks ago. It's got a half-second lead. But on this track,
so the interesting parts are coming up. Is a little bit of a runner drop, a nice line out of turn 9. She's coming back a bit though.
Best speed.
Fastest speed.
Good lines here too. 4,800.
Second fastest speed on the exit.
Good lines. Let's see what the runner tips are here. Perfect. 5,100. She's pulling away. This is a much better run for this young Swiss athlete. From Zurich, through and down, 1:00:45. She'll be happy with that. 1,200's better. And she usually shows some excitement. She'll be happy with that. That could get her into the top 10.
Yeah, that's an opportunity to move up. Great looking lines. You see her exit of turn 9, a little bit of a runner flop, but she sticks the landing. And as you say,
Straight.
John, the runner tips are straight.
Straight. I mean, that's why she had the best speed. Kreisel, watch the lines, consistent. It's going to come down a little bit. You got to go back up, centrifugal force, come down a little bit, and then, boy, you don't want to go back up on the outlet. Melanie, she's always happy.
Next up from China, Qing Ying. She was 11th after the first heat, only a 10th out of the tie with Alana Meyer-Taylor and Kim Kalicki for 9th. So she also has an opportunity here. Currently sitting 20th in the combined standings from Yanqing Beijing.
She's from Shanghai. She's a hurdler.
But gets pretty good starts. And once again, if you're in the mix with Alana Myers-Taylor and Kim Kalicki, you're doing something right.
Just like her teammate who we just saw come down, very consistent. Ming Hua we were very impressed with his driving skills, and she posts only the 3rd fastest start. But she's got green numbers, a little bit of time to work with. Hassler, though, just had a great run. 2,200 is impressive.
Pulling away.
Straight here. Yes, 3,000, best speed. Boy, the China athletes, every time they come to the track, seems like they're improving.
Great exit of Kreisel pulling away up to 3,400s and the fastest speed on the exit as well.
Can't do it any better than that. This is a spectacular bump. 11th in last week's race. She's going to be in the top 10. 1:00:12. She's beat Hassler. That's great. 3,100's better.
Solid run from her. Now that puts her in a position to compete with, once again, the tie in front of her with the American Alana Myers-Taylor and the German Kim Kalicki. That puts a little pressure on them as we have many really tight battles right in front of her.
Can't say how much I'm impressed with the women China drivers who are just a little skid there, but you know, they've only been in the sport a couple years and They're driving down the most difficult track on the planet, one of them, and coming right down the middle of the track, very safe. Okay? Not totally fast, but personal best for her if she gets in the top 10 today. Here comes Kim Kalicki.
Kim Kalicki, the German police officer, 24 years old. He's getting tied for 9th after the first heat, 6:30 start time. So she drops back 100th of a second. As we see the fog start to roll in.
She just doesn't get good starts. 12th in this event a couple of weeks ago. 8th last week in Winterberg, which are her best finish in the Monobob series. 13 down. That's relative to the start time, and knowing the talent here from this young athlete. She should get the green numbers by the... No, she doesn't, but she has the best speed, so she's got a chance for green numbers here coming up.
We'll check the split here on the exit of Kreisels, moving in the right way from 1400s back to 1000s back.
Got to be perfect.
Nice exit turn 14 900s.
Might run out of track, though. I don't know. Going to run out. Could be close.
200ths of a second, 1 minute, .20, second fastest time of the heat, but it is enough to overtake Ying, the Chinese athlete, Kim Kalicki from Germany.
Yeah, that's...
Now the question is, will that be enough to overtake Alana Myers-Taylor, who she was tied with after the first heat?
Well, with the deficient start time, she's got the 5th best start. She'll have, by the time we're done here, she'll have the 13th or 14th best start. The lines are good. You can't fault many of these lines, but you need the best lines when you have a deficient start. And this young German, who's the German 3 ranked pilot in this series. Now, here's your standings.
So after 10 sleds, Kim Kalicki is our provisional leader right now from Germany, with King Ying from China in 2nd. And next up on the starting block, Alana Myers-Taylor was 6th here a couple of weeks ago. Still figuring out this monobob, but she has great starts, John.
Great starts, and she's won 3 of the 4 competitions on tracks with different personalities than Altenberg. She's got a love-hate relationship with this track. She's won on this track before. She's crashed on this track before. And she gets this number 2 start. Look at that, 5:99. So she's got a huge advantage. And she just can't make any mistakes. She's got to take this great start time and don't make mistakes like that. Not in races. There's another mistake. Boy, a lot of Omega. She should be out 3/10 here, but she's not going to be. Now she's 4/10. Yeah,
but that's relative to start time, though.
Yeah, that advantage should be more. This is where's the 8th best speed. This is what happens to Alana.
2800s up. Good exit of Kreisel, though. We'll check the speed. Only the 9th fastest speed, only 100th of a second up and on the wrong side of the track going into 13.
This isn't her favorite track, that's for sure. Now she's going to fall 2 spots. She's going to fall back behind the Chinese athlete, too. So Alana just hasn't 4. She falls 3 spots. Wow, she
falls behind Hassler.
Yeah, so she might not be the World Cup leader when this is over. She is now the World Cup leader in total points by only 49 points, and the person chasing her down, Laura Nolte, is up and challenging for a podium, so she might not be the World Cup leader. Mistakes up top, 2 of them before she got to here, and then this wasn't too bad. I can't say that. She's going to skid all the way down the straightaway. Look at the speed difference. 4 kilometers difference as she entered the Kreisel. That's not the sled or the runners. That's just driving. But again, you know, not everybody has love for this track. A lot of doesn't.
Doesn't look happy with that. Next on the starting block from Romania, Andrea Grecu. Grecu from Bucharest, the 27-year-old, currently sitting in 8th place with a great start time, 6:08 in the first heat. She was 100th of a second ahead of Kalicki and Myers-Taylor. 1500ths of a second out of 7th place. 6:09.
100. worse than her first run. Let's see how clean she could be up here. Little tap there.
Once again, only 1/100th of a second clear of Kalicki in the first heat. So this is a heads-up race. She's got 2,900ths in the bank right now.
Hey, but Myers had 4,200ths in the bank. But Myers skidded all the way down the straightaway and had the 8th best speed. 4th best speed here for the Romanian. Not going to help down at 12. Not, 7th best speed. I don't know.
I think Kalicki may hold on here. Greco's got to have a perfect bottom, but she's out. She's in red numbers now, 400ths back, so she's going to drop at least one unless she finds a time warp in 17.
Third. Yeah, drops 2 spots. So Kalicki moves up 1. So does Ying. Ying is now in the top 10 for China. That's her personal best ever. Might be the best finish of the season for her in women's monobob, for sure it is. A couple mistakes on the bottom. Not here, though. Here was pretty good.
No, right down the pipe there, but yeah, drops 2. And as you said, personal best for Ying out of China because of that.
Not bad at a Kreisel. That tap there didn't help her speed. Accelerated point on the bottom.
Next in the starting block from Canada, Alyssa Laholtz. Alyssa 9th overall in points right now. Had the 5th fastest start time with a 6:13 in the first heat. So 6:16, 3rd fastest start of the heat.
Former brakeman, made the drive, the change to the front seat a couple years ago. Made some good strides.
Take the split here.
Over there.
Up 3/10, so she's maintained that gap after the start. So 3/10 lead coming out of turn 9.
18th place in this event 2 weeks ago because she crashed in the first heat, but the sled came back up. Her best finish of the season was the first race of 5th. 6th last week, though, in Winterberg. 2,700, she should have enough.
4th fastest speed on the X of the Kreisel.
Airborne. Sled was airborne there. Oh, she's got some mistakes down here. I don't know if she's going to do it. I don't think she is.
Red numbers coming through 17. And she drops 3 spots.
Behind Ying, behind Greco. Wow.
What a race we have here in women's monobob. Melissa will not be happy with that. It just went away on her late, didn't it, John?
13-14, the sled went airborne. I'm sure the team will pick it up. This is 11-12. This is where her problem started, skidding into this next curve, 13. Now watch what happens on the exit of 13. She had to steer so hard. Watch the back end of the sled here if they show it. Airborne, look at that. And the nose, that she had some issues. And then she still got problems from that mistake up on the take on to 13, and it compounds all the way down here. She won't be happy. Very competitive athlete, that Melissa Laholtz.
Next on this starting block, sitting tied for 5th, the Russian athlete Nadia Sergeyeva, former push athlete, the 34-year-old. She had a 6:06 start time in the first heat. So she has some power off the block and also had a pretty good drive.
6:05,
6:05.
Let's see how quiet she is with the steering. A little bit of a skid there on the exit of Benish. And she gets through there without tapping. How about here? Does she hit? Nope. See how she exits out of 4. Quiet. 5,100.
She's extending her lead.
She's been hanging around, not on the podiums, but she's been getting some good results.
14th fastest speed going into Kreisel, though. So she is down. This is going to come back. Only 600 up as she goes into 12.
There's
so
too much
she's
control.
going to fall.
She's going to fall back a number of spots. She's been 5th the last 2 weeks in monobob. She won't be 5th today.
So she's 5th on the splits right now, but falling back even more, down on speed.
Wow, 4 spots.
Back a bit.
Wow. won't be happy with
1
that.
minute 65, only the 6th fastest time of the heat. 2 minute point 80 her combined time, but it just went away from her.
Oh, that big change of direction there. This is up top. Labyrinth. Here, rudder tips. She's got some back front skidding. Corrected pretty well. Had no speed in the Kreisel though, so her mistakes made up top. Yeah, I agree.
Sometimes you just don't know. Next up, the former Olympic gold medalist, Mariama Yamenka. The two-person specialist. She's only 12th in points right now and was only 13th in the race here last, in a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, but there's one point I want to make. That little test we had it over in Yanqing, China, the pre-Olympic event, she won it. So don't count her out. The last
we should do on the start ramp.
She has not been doing well, you know, this is her best performance since the event in China. And the Germans have named her as one of the 2 pilots for Monobob in China for good reason. She won the pre-Olympic test. Gives up time at the start.
She bettered her start time by 1/100th of a second, 6:26. She's got 2/10 in the bank now over her teammate Kalicki.
Milano, you've seen those times, 3/4. She almost tipped over there.
Falling back, only 14/100ths of a second up and only the 9th fastest speed.
600s, 4th speed. Needs to be perfect here. Runners coming straight at us. They are. 200s back. I don't think she's going to do it. I think she's lost all
2 spots.
Yeah, because the Chinese are real close. Falls back 2 spots. Kalicki's moved up 5 spots.
How good was Kalicki's run?
Well, and you know, Kalicki's been up here, but Yang from China, there's how many sleds left? There's 4 sleds left, so 6 will be her best, personal best ever. No Chinese women's bobsledders ever finished like that. This is where it started going away for Yamenka. Look at the difference in speed, a full kilometer and a third. Doesn't sound like much. It's about 1 mile per hour. Hit, took her medicine, came straight, but had no speed in the Kreisel.
Up next from the USA, Kaylee Humphries. She won the event here a couple of weeks ago. No stranger to being on the top step of the podium. She's currently 4th overall in points.
13th though last week in Winterberg. You know, and I sort of saw some training times when the 2-person sled where she must have been sitting in the sled or jogging. So I don't know if she's got an injury or not, but 25, 400's better start. She needed that. So she's on the out looking in here. She's going to have to post a great time and get some help from the next 3 sleds. Post a good time. If there's anybody who can post a good time on this track, it's Kaylee Humphries. She won the World Championships in Monobob last year on this track, and then mentioned she won the event here 2 weeks ago.
She extended her lead from 33 to 37/100ths. Fastest speed in the Kreisel.
Look how far back she is. Look at these lines. She's going to have to be perfect there to have a chance to medal.
Pulling away though, fastest speed on the exit.
4th in World Cup points. Perfect exit. Well, this is what Kaylee Humphries does on this track. Maybe just a bad first run. Definitely 1:00:10. So she goes 500 slower, but coming late in the heat, the ice chopped up. I don't know if that's enough, but that's a great run by Kaylee Humphries. That's probably going to leave her in 4th place, no worse than 4th. She has a chance to move up. And she's 4th in the standings, so she won't lose her spot in the standings. Look at these lines. If you're going to want to study lines on this track, this is the athlete who you study. Her
solid
better
run
speed.
from Kaylee.
Look at these lines. video game lines.
Question, was it enough to move her up on the podium? She had a 2/10 gap after the first heat. And next on the starting block, Laura Nolte from Germany. A 23-year-old soldier. Amazing pilot. Really has taken to these monobobs. Said the sixth fastest start in the first heat with a 6:14.
She's second in World Cup points.
Yep,
And
third
she's
here in the last race.
First in overall World Cup points for the two-person sled. So this is the #1 driver on tour. And she's only 500ths out of the gold. She has not won yet. You know, she's had third, second, third, and fourth. And over there on the China track, she was sixth. The worst performance of the season. These are great lines, 2800ths, fourth best speed though. She's gonna have to make a major mistake down here for her not to be the leader. She keeps coming straight. She's the leader. She's losing more time. Ooh,
wrong side of the track in a 13.
He hits here.
500, we have a race.
I think Humphreys is gonna catch her. Big mistake in 13.
Nolte may have seen herself off the podium.
Humphreys with a bronze medal at least. And Laura Nolte lets one slip away. The exit of 12 into 13. That's where it all went away. Her speeds out of Kreisel weren't great, but they were good enough with that quarter-second lead. But that's what this track can do. That doesn't mean she's off the podium. Here's the mistake. Here's an 11-12. 11, 12. Now watch the back end of the sled here going into 13. Watch the left side of your screen. She taps there. She's on the wrong side going in here. Has to take way too much at 13. Crossover. Now big skidding here. Does she come out of here? Yeah, she has to steer hard to get out of there. Bang. Has to cross over to 15. That's where she lost her time. She's looking at it. It's Altenberg, she says.
All right, we are looking for medals now. Up next on the starting block from Canada, Christine de Bruyn. Sitting second after the first heat. She's sixth overall in points, was fourth here last time out. So looking to improve that today.
Ooh, she's got 500ths better start than her first run. Had a great drive down the track. She's not medaled yet in Monobob. She's medaled in every one of the two-person competitions. So she's been on the outside looking in. Fourth the last time out. 15th at the World Championships here last year. Just didn't have the feel for these sleds then, but got a 2500ths lead. Boy, she's gonna really have to make some mistakes to throw that away. Speed in Kreisel, best speed. She's gonna accelerate here.
2700s up on the entrance. 2400s maintains it. Second best speed on the exit.
Yeah.
She's going to be the leader.
Yeah, she's going to be the leader in the teens, 18 or so. But good drive. Her first medal ever in women's monobob. 19, Kaylee Humphreys looks on. There's a medal for Canada, the first ever for Christine de Bruyn. Her husband will be sliding later today in the two-man competition for the Netherlands. Been pretty consistent driver. Medaled third place in all 4 events. The two-persons competition here. Not a perfect entry into the sled. Looks like her foot's caught.
Yeah, it does take her
Still
a moment
went
to get
500s
down.
better. Still went 500s better. She's out of the drive lines now. You see that? So now, danger there of, you know, the sled goes any way it wants. She needs to get her hands on those handles quicker.
Well, de Bruyn guarantees herself at least a silver medal with only 1 sled left, and that sled is her teammate, Cynthia Appia, the start record holder. Fastest start time in the first heat with a 5:96. She's third overall in World Cup points. Had a silver here last time. Looking for the upgrade.
Well, this track and field athlete from Toronto, she's got a bronze, she's got a silver the last 2 times out. And now she's gold hunting. And with that type of
5:93 start time.
It's her race to lose. She's controlling her own destiny. Probably one of the most inexperienced drivers in the top 10 in the field. But boy, has she been coming on. We saw this last year with this. The start time, no mistake there. 50/100 lead. Boy, hard to believe she could throw that away. Look at the speed coming in here, though. Only the
fastest speed,
but still,
a bit rough.
huge amount of time. Oh, almost over. Almost over.
4,800. Now, how much?
Watch out.
How much will
Watch
that
out here.
hurt her? 2,400. She's down on speed.
She's gonna do it. Barely. She's gonna barely get in there. Single digits.
Going to be close. The line. No, she falls back. Christine de Bruyn wins the gold medal here in
Canadians
Altenberg.
Wow. North Americans sweep the podium. I'll make a statement now. There's not too many times where the North Americans have swept the podium in Altenberg, Germany in my 30+ years of coming to this track in any discipline. So Christine
where it went wrong.
Look at Appia, though. Look at that. She almost tipped over there. That's what cost her the medal. I thought she was going to hold on.
It was close, but wrong side of the track in a 13.
Yeah.
Does a nice job of holding on and keeping the runners down.
Yeah, this was a pretty good
for her.
There.
Yeah, but
she's medaled 3 straight events. Medaled 3 straight events. There's Alana Myers-Taylor. Congratulate her. No athlete has made better strides in the monobob competition than that athlete, Cynthia Appia. But the first medal ever, too, for Christine de Bruyn.
She looks surprised.
Canada 1-2.
I don't think she knew she was in the lead.
Well, she just feels for her teammate. You know, her teammate had their, you know, it was her race to lose there. And second place is the first loser, but in Cynthia Appia's case, she's got 3 medals the last 3 times out. Christine de Bruyn had never medaled in women's monobob this season, and okay, she shakes that off with the coming from behind gold medal with very consistent lines down the track. She's only got the 10th best start time, but obviously great eyes and hands.
She is your winner. Here are your results. So Christine de Bruyn taking the gold, Cynthia Appia with the silver, Kaylee Humphries from the United States with the bronze, Laura Nolte falling out into 4th.
Look at the Chinese. Look at that.
The Chinese Qing Ying moving up into 6th.
Best finish ever for her.
Lana Myers-Taylor finishing in 12th. The surprise drive of the competition, Kim Uran in 13th. Great lines from the Korean athlete. Caddy Bile, surprising to see her back in 17th. But an exciting race in Altenberg, culminating with Christine de Bruyn winning her first medal, and it just happens to be gold. Not a bad way to get on the podium for the first time.
Well, you know, she was consistent. That's the thing. She had the best time of the second, you know, and, you know, she was better than everybody else with the consistency. That, you know, only the 10th best start. You got the 10th best start time, you really got to drive to get onto the podium. But to get onto the gold, you really got to do better than everybody else, and that's what she did. World Cup standings, I don't know what they are, but I got to believe Nolte is going to go into the driver's seat there.
Well, we'll be back later this afternoon here in Altenberg, Germany for 2-man bobsled. An exciting race. See Christine de Bruyn's husband, Ivo, competing for the Netherlands. For John Morgan, I am Greg West. We'll see you in a couple of hours here in Saxony.
To go.